In the past, we've spoken about being financially stable, but the thing about financial stability is that you really have to keep working at it because situations can really change in the blink of an eye. And even if you haven't gone through something personally, chances are you know someone, you've read about someone who one moment everything is going good, everything is stable, and then if you check on them 6 months later or a year later, their finances have done a complete 180. So in today's video, we are going to look at different ways that you can stay or become more financially stable. And I would also like to thank Kover for sponsoring this video. If you are part of the gig economy, or maybe you're thinking of getting into this type of work, this company offers benefits that can provide a much needed safety net, which is essentially the theme of this video. And if you are new here, I create videos on different money and personal finance topics. So hit the subscribe button if you like videos like this and you want to be a part of the conversation. The first way to be more financially stable is to look for ways to protect your income. Now, I realize that when it comes to your income, a lot of stuff can happen that can either take away your income or reduce how much you earn, and many of these things are really beyond your control. But being unable to work due to an illness or injury can be a major setback and one of the biggest obstacles to stability. Now, if you are not eligible for disability insurance and you are a gig worker, which, by the way, gig workers now make up 40% of the US labor force. So if you belong to this group, Kover can help because this company, they offer portable benefits to gig workers, and this includes people who work for Instacart, Uber, Lyft, Amazon, and many other services. And basically, when you sign up, you will qualify for benefits that can replace a percentage of your income if you are unable to work under certain circumstances. Now, this is not insurance by any means. It is a benefits program, and to give you a sample of what you can expect, if you are involved in a car accident, you can't work because your car is in the shop, this company will replace 80% of your lost income until you get your car back. If you are hospitalized for an unforeseen event, the company will also replace 80% of your lost income while you're in the hospital. And there's even a benefit that replaces 80% of your income if you are deactivated or suspended from your gig assignment, as long as it's not due to any type of illegal or malicious activity. Another great benefit is that you can even borrow up to $300 of future pay if you become sick and you're unable to work. And considering that we're dealing with a virus and we have flu season right around the corner, I mean, that is a huge plus. If you're a gig worker, I mean, this really provides a lot of peace of mind, starting at only $7 a month. So I will include a link below if you're interested. You can check it out. And as a side note, if you sign up using my referral link, you can also get your first month free. It's also important that you prepare for worst case scenarios. You know, in life, it's not really a question of if something will happen, but rather a question of when. Now, I don't suggest sitting around agonizing about the what ifs because, you know, you could really drive yourself crazy doing that. But you do have to think about this stuff because most people at one point or another will hit a rough patch, and it really only takes one incident to really rock your financial world. Now, you can't prepare for every single scenario, but there are a lot of things you can do, and one of the best ways to prepare for worst case scenario is to definitely make saving money a priority and to build your emergency fund. Now, on this channel, we've spoken a lot about building an emergency fund and how to do this, so I'm not going to go into too many details in this video, but I do have several videos on this topic which I do recommend that you check out. But along with saving and having like a disability insurance or maybe a benefits program that also helps protect your income, it's also important that you make sure that you have adequate coverage in other areas of your life, because not having enough insurance, it can really cost you money in the long run. And I realize that insurance, it is expensive and you can only afford what you can afford. I totally get that. But one thing to remember is that our insurance needs, they do change as we get older. So a policy that might have worked for you years ago, it may not work for you today. So ever so often, maybe once a year, once every 5 years, it doesn't hurt to really just pull out your policies, look at your coverage, and think about areas where you might need to increase this coverage so that you're better protected. It's also important to be goal-oriented because goals can really drive your focus. And there's a saying that successful people tend to be goal-oriented, and I do feel that that's true. And when I say successful, I'm not necessarily referring to earning a lot of money, even though some people do use that as a measure of success. What I'm speaking of is being at a place where you are confident and okay with your finances, even if there's still room for improvement. Because financial stability isn't always about how much you make, it's also about what you do with what you have. So when it comes to your money, it is important to have objectives or concrete plans for your finances. And this includes short-term and long-term goals, and it is important because it does give you direction. So the next time you have a few moments, just really sit down and think about, where do you want to be by a certain time? What do you hope to accomplish financially? And then write that down, and then come up with little mini goals that can help you hit this target. And I also think it's important to never stop setting goals. That is a mistake I think a lot of people do. Once they hit their goal, they kind of just stop thinking about everything else that they can accomplish, which by doing that you can also lose focus financially. So definitely always have a goal. So even if you hit your goal of building that 6-month emergency fund, don't stop there. Aim for a 12-month emergency fund, or use that money to build a bigger retirement fund. Another way to become more financially stable is to become more financially literate. The same way you should not stop setting money goals, never stop learning about money. I have been writing on money topics for 15 years, and let me tell you, I am still learning stuff. I am still learning about new strategies and new techniques. So, this topic, this area, it is so vast, and there's so much information that, there's so many ways to just become more financially literate. One benefit of continued learning is that, sometimes we do stuff with our money that we think makes sense. We think we're on the right path, and it's not really until you hear another perspective or you hear tips and strategies from other people that you're able to look at your situation and say, wow, I haven't been doing things right, or there's room for improvement. And learning is also important because even though there are many things beyond our control that can mess up our finances, sometimes we're to blame for the things we go through. And it's not until we educate ourselves that we realize this. Before reading articles about money or watching videos like this, maybe you didn't realize the importance of living beneath your means or how to do that, or maybe you didn't realize some budgeting mistakes you were making. The thing about money is that none of us are born knowing how to manage it. It's something that we learn over time. So the more we know, the less room for error. It's also important that you attack debt. And I think it was Dave Ramsey who said that income is a wealth building tool, but debt, it robs you of your income. Now I realize that being completely debt free is not realistic. If we want to buy a house, a lot of us are not in a position to write a check, so we have to get loans. But when it comes to unnecessary debt like credit card debt, before charging anything, really think twice, because if you don't have any type of plan in place, you could really dig a deep hole for yourself. And once you're in a situation, it could take years to really dig yourself out of a hole, and you can end up paying a lot of interest and end up paying more than the original price for an item. It's also important that you have a second income stream, and I know some of you are probably tired of me mentioning having a side hustle or maybe having passive income on the side, but we cannot talk about financial stability without having a blurb about having a second income stream, because it is so important in order to supplement and bring in additional income. Things have always been unpredictable, but even more so now. There are people who think that their jobs are secure, they think that they will never be out of work, and out the blue, they have the rug pulled out from under them. Just recently, I've heard of dental offices that are struggling to stay open, and teachers at private schools getting laid off. And, these are occupations where, you don't always hear a lot about layoffs, but they are happening. So it just really goes to show that, anything can happen. Our occupations, there is no true security. And this is why I think it's so important for everyone to have at least one additional income stream. And at the moment, a lot of people are thinking about different side hustles, but even as we look into the future, once the economy improves, I think it's always smart to still keep at least something on the side, even if you have a job, even if your job is pretty stable, because as we mentioned, things happen. Life is so unpredictable, and that extra $500 to $1,000 that you bring in from a side hustle, that can really get your savings account to a point where you need to be, where, if you were to lose your job, you can keep your head above water and you can afford to go maybe 3 or 6 months without a regular paycheck. So thank you for watching this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And also, if you have any other ideas on how you can stay or become more financially stable, please comment below and let us know. And if you haven't already, do consider subscribing. Again, on this channel, we talk a lot about different money topics, mostly how you can save money, but also how you can improve your entire financial outlook. So if you like videos like this, I post every weekend and sometimes during the week. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys in a few days.